are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, it is the New York Knicks podcast, episode 594.
Wait, Jay, can I do the intro?
Yeah.
I want to jump in here. Okay. Welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, where we'll be discussing all things New York Knicks basketball. Whether you are a diehard fan or a casual observer, this is the place to come for all the latest news, analysis, and opinions on the Knicks. Each episode, we will bring you the latest updates on the team, including game recaps, player interviews, and in-depth analysis of the Knicks' performance on the court. We will also be discussing the latest news and rumors surrounding the team and offering our expert insights on what to expect from the Knicks in the coming weeks and months. So if you are a fan of the Knicks and want to stay up to date on all the latest news and information, be sure to tune into the New York Knicks podcast. Join us as we discuss the team's past, present, and future and cheer on the Knicks as they strive for victory on the hardwood.
Why haven't you been doing the intro for the last 600 episodes?
I asked, you know what Chat GPT is?
No.
There's a company called OpenAI that's been doing, I don't freaking know. But anyway, they created this thing called Chat GPT. You can ask it any question, and it'll come up with things for you. And so I asked it to do an intro for the New York Knicks podcast.
Well, that's
How about let me see if we can try this. Comical intro to NY Knicks. They come up with it pretty fast. You can ask all. We should play with this on Break of Sanity.
Yeah.
But
that's our
this is gonna be comical. Let's see if this. Welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, where we'll be discussing all things New York Knicks basketball, or as we like to call it, the world's longest running comedy sketch.
Not bad. Not bad.
I don't know.
I mean, that's not bad.
It keeps going and going. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I can ask it like a Shakespearean one.
Can you just ask it to like do our podcast?
Please give us insightful dialogue for the New York, but for the
So if this works
New
out, we're
York.
gonna do 3 shows a week.
Yeah, the thing could just do it for us. Here are some possible lines of dialogue that could be used in the New York Knicks podcast. The Knicks are off to a rocky start this season, but there are still reasons to be hopeful. The team has a lot of young talent, and if they can get and play their potential, they could surprise some people. RJ Barrett has been a bright spot for the Knicks so far this season. He's shown a lot of promise, and if he can continue to develop and improve, he could become a cornerstone for the team. By the way, this is only up through I think it's this thing has been disconnected from the internet as of 2021, so it's not currently up to date.
Okay.
The Knicks' biggest challenge this season will be finding a. Jesus Christ, this is really long.
Forget it. Let's just go on with the show.
Anyway, ChatGPT is a new unofficial sponsor, meaning they don't know they're sponsoring us.
Unofficial co-host of the show.
Unofficial co-host. What's going on? I was just playing with that before the show.
So,
what's going on with you, Jay?
Well, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. I want to keep
The Knicks are 3-0 since the last show. They are goddamn dominating. 4-game winning streak. Is that what we're going to talk about, Jay?
Yeah, I think we should.
That sounds like a good idea.
It's not every day we get to talk about a 4-game winning streak with the Knicks.
The Knicks are playing goddamn awesome basketball. Since the last show, well, they beat the Cavaliers. Then since the last show, they beat the Hawks, the Hornets, and the Kings. And they're doing so by playing goddamn awesome defense.
Really good defense. I mean, the league is averaging like 120 points a game this season. The Knicks held 2 of those guys under 100 points, right?
So going into the game against the Cavs, the Knicks had yet to hold the team under 100 points for a game the whole season. Going into that game, the Cavs scored 81 points. The Hawks scored 89. The Hornets scored 102. And the Hornets also lost by 19 points. And the Kings scored 99. Kings also going into the game was one of the better offenses in basketball.
Yeah. Yeah. So 3 out of the last 4 games. That's they were missing one of their best players, every single one of those teams, but still quality wins. Again.
Really, and the Hornets game also was garbage points to get them to 100 points. I mean, the Knicks won by 19 points. The Knicks could have won by more. So,
yeah.
Things are looking. Why is this season so much better suddenly, Jay?
Well, it seems like Tibbs decided that he's just going to play all the defensive guys he can as much as possible. So he brought McBride's like the first guy off the bench. He's starting Grimes.
That's really it. And he's basically the guys don't play a lot of defense. The veterans aren't playing anymore.
Right. Rose is out. Fournier is out. Those were 2 of the weaker defenders on the team. And
Cam is out for other reasons. We'll talk about Cam a little bit later.
He's staggered minutes. So RJ plays a lot more minutes with the second unit, which I think is a good idea. You don't have the redundancy with him and Randle, but also he seems to just mesh with that unit better, and he could take the lead on offense.
I mean, part of the reason is Obi being out, and so he wants Randle. So Randle is kind of now, Barrett is kind of Randle's replacement. So he wants to stagger the minutes for that reason, also with Obi being out.
True, but I think it's just working out better too.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. But where do you think the Knicks currently rank? So the Knicks going into after the I don't have the numbers here, but after the Dallas game, the Knicks were just. By that point, the Knicks defense looked horrible, and they were just terrible in all the rankings.
Yeah.
Where do you think the Knicks rank now? I don't know the number. I think the Knicks were in the mid-20s before this. Where are the Knicks now in defensive rating?
I think defensive rating they are 9th.
They're 11th when I looked there a little earlier ago. Where are the Knicks in opponents' 3-point percentage?
The last 4 games, the opponent shot so bad. I'm gonna say they're like 11th,
Third in the NBA.
Weren't they like dead last fairly recently?
Where are the Knicks in opponents' field goal percentage? So not even the 3-point percentage, field goal percentage.
Field goal percentage. I don't know, let's say 8th.
They're the second best team right now in the NBA in opponent field goal percentage.
This is crazy. This is like...
I mean, the last 4 games have really helped their stats. But yes, they are second in the NBA now in opponent's field goal percentage. Oddly, they're also... some oddities with here. The Knicks are still giving up the most 3-point attempts in the NBA. But they're third in percentage.
They're actually like defending them now.
Yeah, so opponent free throw percentage, which you have nothing to do but just stare at the guy while he shoots. The Knicks are third in opponent's free throw percentage.
Wow.
I don't even know what that means. Like the guys go to the line, they're like, come on, miss. And they're not even allowed to say it out loud. Somehow that works.
They're so good on defense, they're missing free throws too.
Yeah, the Knicks are a story of two. So they're obviously really good. Their defense is playing great. Their offense, I think their offense is doing as far as shooting.
Offense is.
Where are we in field goal percentage in the NBA?
Field goal percentage is. I feel like the shooting picked up a little bit, but I don't think it's great. I'm going to say like 17th, 18th.
25th. 25th in the NBA.
Okay. Yeah.
And where are we in free throw percentage? I mean, not 3-point percentage. 3-point.
That's still probably like 27th.
30th. We're actually shooting about 8% less. We're hitting 8% less threes than the Celtics. The Celtics are literally shooting the Celtics are shooting 39.7%. We're shooting 31.9%.
That's not great.
But and where are we? Where do you think we're in free throw percentage?
17th.
6th.
Okay.
Right. That shocked me because I didn't think we could hit free throws, but suddenly we're actually gotten a little better at that.
Yeah, I think Barrett picked it up a little from the free throw line.
Randle's actually been on fire for the free throw line.
Yeah, Randle's been really, really good, and then Yeah, they're getting more minutes for guys like Grimes, who he doesn't take a lot of free throws, but he hits them.
So a couple notes about how good they've been. So first, on offense, Julius Randle has gone from letdown season to he could be playing possibly better than his All-Star season.
Yeah, he's playing really good.
Jay, are you shouting at me?
No, I'm not.
Your voice level changed dramatically just now.
Yeah, I noticed that. Sorry.
I don't know why.
I think something was wrong with the audio, and now it's working again.
Okay, cool. Nothing. We never have audio issues. On
No,
show,
never have audio issues.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so what do you think of Randle?
Randle's been really, really good. I mean, this is the Randle that we had 2 years ago, pretty much. I know everyone's going to focus on his tech and getting ejected, which was stupid. But he's been playing good. He's been distributing the ball. He still holds the ball a little bit too long sometimes, but he's been on fire. He's been really good.
No, I mean he's taking a little bit sometimes it feels like he should stop taking so many threes, but he's been hitting a bunch of them also. His shooting percentage from three has been pretty good as of late.
Yeah.
He's not like Steph Curry, obviously, but he's been hitting shots. He's been probably our best 3-point shooter in the last few weeks. I'm not even looking at the numbers. He's probably been their best one as of late. He's been playing bully ball down low, which has been great because he's getting points when we really need points.
Yeah.
He's getting to the line a lot. He's finding, as you said, he's finding the open man. He's been playing great, and I also noticed there's a lot more hustling from him because he knows, and we'll talk about the injuries also. But Brunson gets him the ball. There's plays where Brunson will get him the ball in traffic, and he'll just set him up for an easy basket. And now that he knows that if he hustles, he'll get easy baskets because guys will get him the ball, especially Brunson, makes him hustle more. There's
been multiple games where he's had over 15 points in the first quarter, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah, he's been so good. It's unbelievable. And also, Barrett apparently is over his flu. He's been playing great also.
So what I noticed
playing pretty well.
What I noticed about Barrett is he scores a lot when he drives. Like a really, I don't know what the percentage is, but it seems really high. And he still isn't really a good 3-point shooter. Especially, I noticed last game it was like he drove, he scored, took a three, he missed. He drove, he scored, took a three, he missed. It was like back and forth like that. And he's been driving a lot more lately, and it's resulted in slightly more efficient games. He still takes a bunch of threes and misses them, but he said he's been a little bit more efficient and he's scoring a lot more, and it's because he's driving a lot more. He's
shooting the best he's ever shot in his career from two.
Yeah.
He's hitting 47% of the shots from two, which is still, you'd like it to be a little higher, but if you average in the fact that he had that horrible stretch, it's better than it's all weighed down by that horrible stretch. So 47% is not bad. It's still the best of his career so far.
This stretch has been particularly good. And it's not a lot of jumpers. It's all drives to the basket.
I mean, he should also get a jumper. Like if he could pull up, there's sometimes when he drives the basket when the basket it's just there's too many defenders, and that's when he really needs to pull up jumper a little more.
Yeah, since he's not really a good 3-point shooter, he should study DeMar DeRozan and take some mid rangers.
Yeah, I mean, or even Jalen Brunson, but
floaters. They do that little step back thing that Brunson does. It seems to work.
I mean, I don't want him to not shoot any threes because I feel like there's still that he's not this bad of a 3-point shooter. He's going to get better. I feel like it's helpful if he could hit them threes.
It's helpful. I don't see any progression from the 3-point line, but if he can even get to league average, it'll open up his game. It'll even help driving because people have to, they won't be able to play off of him.
I also both Barrett and Randle have been playing better D. I'd say right now Barrett's probably playing the worst D on the team because he's missing some assignments. But overall, they're both playing. Their defense has picked up a lot lately. Why do you think that is?
I don't know if they worked on it or if it's just the maybe the matchups are helping. The lineups that they're playing might be helping as well.
I think they're also because you have Grimes out there and McBride out there, and IQ also is playing good defense. You have a bunch of other guys playing good defense. You're having to do less covering for other guys, And I think that's helped also.
There
When
also
other guys are
seems to
playing
be-
good defense, it makes it easier for you to play good defense.
Well, there's less
too.
confusion too because those guys know
Yeah.
exactly where to be. If you have like 3 guys that are lost on defense, like now you have a bunch of guys who know exactly where to be, and you can't really hear it during on TV, but they're probably talking and kind of helping Randle out, telling him where to go.
By the way, I've noticed also on just the go back to Randle and his offense.
Yeah.
Like there was a play in the Sacramento game where he was just like, RJ cut. He's just like telling RJ to cut because RJ cut. He got him the ball, and then because he saw RJ's man coming to him, and then RJ passed the ball to Mitch, and I think it was Mitch, and he got the score.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Randle's directing traffic. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a cool play.
People still want to dump him for cap space on Twitter, apparently, but
people's reaction to this. Oh, great! Now we can finally trade him. Does it make sense to trade him when he's playing this? I know you're falling back into this. Like, what are you going to get for him if you trade him?
some people really think that if you traded him for nothing and just started Obi, it'd be just as good, which I don't think so at all.
Maybe I don't know the path forward. And we can get into this, but maybe just try to keep building a solid team around all these guys. I don't know.
Kyle Kuzma.
Kuzma wants out of Washington, right?
There's a rumor that he might. Also, he is coming off his contract, and I don't think Washington's going to want to pay him.
He's having a great year. Does he? I don't watch enough Kuzma. Does he play good defense? 'Cause my guess is no.
I have not watched enough Washington. He's on my fantasy team, and he's putting up amazing offensive numbers.
Right. I feel like we need to focus on guys that also play defense going forward. This team on defense looks just so. It's amazing to see a guy like the Knicks. Like everyone seems covered. It's crazy.
I mean,
when they have McBride and IQ and Grimes out there at the same time, I'm like, this is like poetry watching their defense.
I saw somebody say like you can get Kuzma for Cam and Fournier, and people were saying like no, because where are you going to find the minutes for him? And it's like you always add talent if you can add talent. Especially if you can
I
add
don't
a
know if
guy
that
who's
trade
having,
really
like, an
gets it
all-star
done,
but if it
like,
does, it would be insane not to.
Someone on Twitter's been debating with us about how the Knicks' big problem right now is they have to move Fournier, Rose, and
Cam.
Sorry, an ad was in my. Did you hear that or no?
Fournier, Rose, and Cam, yeah.
Oh no, this music was just blasting from some website.
Oh no, I didn't.
You know,
hear
like
that.
they had the autoplay and they started blasting, and I was like, is that on my end?
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Okay. Anyway, the three players that are not playing, and they're like, they have to be moved now. It's really important to move them. You have to trade assets. We have to get rid of these players as fast as possible because it's a major issue. And I was like, they're not playing. There's really no issue. We don't have to move them. I mean, like we can if you can get assets for them, great. But you don't have to attach assets to move guys that aren't playing.
Because guess what? There's always going to be 6 guys not playing in a 9-man rotation. Or
Yeah.
even
They
5
were
guys
talking
not
about-
playing in a 10-man rotation. There's always going to be guys not playing. You can't keep trading guys who aren't playing. There's always going to be guys who are not playing. That's how basketball works.
They were arguing that we should trade McBride to help move them. And I was like, well, McBride's in the rotation. Why would you get rid of someone that's in the rotation to get rid of someone that's not in the rotation? So anyway, the latest news on a couple of points to go over real quickly with the Knicks. Injury wise, Brunson is injured. He is uncertain for Wednesday's game against Chicago. There's a decent chance maybe he'll miss it. He sprained his ankle. How you feeling about that, Jay?
Not great. He's super important to the team. Super important to my fantasy team as well, but that's besides the point. Yeah, the Knicks don't have a great, like McBride is good off the bench as a point guard. The Knicks don't have another starting caliber point guard. It's going to hurt.
I don't know if Rose comes back to playing because of this, or they try to make do without him, but I would think Rose must get minutes, even with IQ starting. I mean, they have McBride as also a point guard, but his offense is limited.
Yeah,
That's going to be really...
Maybe you start IQ and then you up McBride's minutes. this would be a good opportunity if he's injured. It would be a good opportunity to give Cam another run, but it seems like that ship has sailed. And Cam is
let's get to that in a sec. So Brunson is injured. How you so any loss of Brunson for any sustained period of time will be devastating in this team. Also, Obi is out, and Obi is going to be gone for 6 to 8 weeks. Probably. He's being reevaluated in a few weeks, like I think 3 weeks, but the chances are he's going to be gone for like 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
How do you feel about losing Obi?
Not great. I mean, anytime you lose depth, it's not a good thing. Now you're extending minutes for other players, which increases injury risk. Like it has a trickle down effect.
Yeah, I mean, right now, basically the replacement for Obi is playing Randle, RJ more without Randle, and also they've been doing the lineup of having Sims and Hart out there together, which we haven't really been hurt so far when they've had them out there. But that lineup looks like that can't be a good lineup to play. I mean, it's not bad on defense. But,
yeah, it's a good defensive lineup, not great on offense. But
I mean, the offense
bench has a nice defensive lineup.
Yeah, I mean, the offense itself hasn't looked amazing as of late. I mean, it's looked good, but it's really like Randall's been good. Brunson actually had not been good for a little while, but he recently started playing well again. He was playing well before he got injured last night. Once Randle went out last night because he got thrown a toss of the game, and Brunson was out, the offense looked like it was really, really struggling to score points.
Yeah,
RJ came up big to score, but I was like, can we get this? Can we just run? Like every play, I was like, run the shot clock down to as little as possible, just to burn seconds on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, the other team has a lot of trouble scoring, but at some point you do need some scoring options out there.
Yeah, I mean, also, we could talk about. Hopefully, McBride's offense will get a little better. Its defense has been great. Okay, so Obi's out. Cam, what's the deal with Cam? So I hear a lot of people online are complaining about why isn't Tibbs playing Cam? What's going on with Cam? What's your theory on Cam, Jay? And he was asked. The rumor was that he asked to be traded, and Cam said, "No, in fact, I haven't asked to be traded.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for asking. I'm just mysteriously out of the lineup."
Seems to me that he said, "Hey, Mr. Agent, can you get me out of here?" And the agent asked for a trade, and then they stopped playing him. And then he's like, "I didn't ask for a trade," because nobody wants to be the guy who asked for a trade. Then you're labeled as a troublemaker. You got a bad rap. Because it seemed like he kind of wanted to get out of Atlanta. And now you don't want to do that 2 teams in a row. So that makes the most sense to me. Somebody told us on Twitter that Tibbs did it because he's evil and he's mean and he just has a personal grudge. I feel like Tibbs would rather win games than, put personal opinions on a guy over that. I think it's injury insurance. I think they're looking to move him. They don't want him to get hurt. To me, it doesn't make sense that either Tibbs had a vendetta or they just decided that he wasn't good enough to make the rotation, even though, like with Obi out, he should have been playing.
No, I mean, the Knicks could really use Cam right now, especially with being shorthanded. I think Tibbs basically, he looks at this team and he's like, all these guys are playing really hard for me because they all want to be here. You don't want to be here. I can't give you minutes because you're not going to play hard for me. I'm not going to try to give minutes to try to develop you if you don't want to be here. So you're off the team as far as I'm concerned.
We also don't know what happens in practice. Maybe he dogs it in practice. We don't know. There's all these, everyone thinks they have the full story, but they don't.
Clearly something happened. It's not like Tibbs just to randomly bench a guy. And these rumors about guys asking to be traded don't, how often does that come up when the guy didn't actually have to be traded?
Right. I mean, it didn't happen with Rose and Fournier.
Yeah, there's no rumors about them asking to be traded. Right. But, that clearly was I'm going to go with the young guys and the defensive guys playing defense over the vets. He made a real strong choice there. Cam doesn't make as much sense for those reasons. Yeah,
so, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. What's today, the 12th?
Yeah.
He's eligible to be traded in 3 days.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's moved pretty early.
Maybe even in 3 days.
I mean, Cam has been on 2 teams. He has rumors to have asked off both teams. I'm going to say that maybe the issue is not the Knicks, maybe not Tibbs, maybe the issue is Cam, and maybe Tibbs is like, if this guy's asked off, I really see, like, I don't care who's out, who cannot play here. I'd rather forfeit games to play a guy who doesn't want to be on the team.
Yeah, I mean, that makes more sense to me than the other rumors. So the Lakers are looking at Cam. If Brunson's injured, they could offer up Beverly and Nunn, give a little temporary depth.
Yeah, I mean, I want a draft pick for Cam. Well, even a second round pick. I feel like we should be able to get that for him. So if the Lakers want to give us a pick, and the earliest first round pick they can give is 2027, but being that that's 5 years from now,
I don't think they're giving a first. We could probably get a second.
I don't think I'm making the trade to the Lakers because I think the Lakers. I mean, I guess a second. Yeah, if you give me a second I would do it for a second, maybe 2 seconds for him.
Yeah, because everyone's like, oh, the Knicks traded a first for a Cam, but it's going to be a second. It's not going to convey as a first. It's heavily protected. I think it's
and Cam himself will convey as a second.
I think it's top 18 last year, top 15 this year, and then top 14 the next 2 years, and then it's a second after that. And it's Charlotte. They're not going to be good any time in the next couple of years.
Also, Cam has been. I mean, it's not because Cam is out the Knicks were playing so much better, but they are playing so much better without Cam on the floor.
They are.
They're playing.
Yeah.
Their defense is so much better. Everything they're doing is so much better. So I know Cam maybe wasn't helping. I think Cam also he's up for free agency this offseason. He probably talked to his agent. It was like, I'm looking for a max contract. And his agent's like, you're a bench player. How do I get a max contract? You become an all-star? How do I do that? You're a starter that gets like 35 minutes a game? Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's ask for a trade. Great idea. Make a trade happen. Let's do that. By the way, I'm going to deny all culpability.
So I don't see how anybody can be complaining about a player not getting minutes when the Knicks are winning in decisive fashion.
Also, Cam was getting over just over 20 minutes a game.
That's a lot of minutes. How about
you do more to earn more minutes? I think 20 minutes a game for what he was giving you is totally fine. And if you wanted more minutes, just play better.
20 minutes a game is a good amount of time.
I mean, it's always a good sign when a role player doesn't want to earn his extra minutes, just wants to be traded to get them elsewhere. Twice.
Yeah.
So what about the vets? How do you feel about so right now the vets, Fournier and Rose, I'm not missing anyone, right? Those two guys have basically been benched.
It's a young team. I mean, the current lineup, nobody over 28 is playing.
Are you surprised they won't, like, being shorthanded, they won't put Fournier back out there?
A little bit. Unless this all hinges on the 15th and Fournier's gone too. Yeah, maybe. If Cam is as good as Knicks Twitter seems to think, they'll take Fournier to get Cam and give up picks.
I mean, if Fournier is as good as Knicks Twitter thinks, we might get the number 1 pick of the draft for him.
Cam,
yeah. Sorry, that's what I meant, Cam. If Fournier is as good as Knicks Twitter thinks, he'll be the most untradeable contract in the NBA history.
No. Broke records last year. Now he's like the worst player.
So one of the things we said was the strength of this team was depth. Do you think the Knicks have depth?
They have depth. I mean,
I don't know. They seem like a pretty shot. Like losing Obi hurt a lot. Now losing Brunson, they don't seem they have the depth of the players they want to play. They have a bunch of guys they don't want to play anymore. Like Rose and Fournier, they don't want to play anymore. Cam, they can't play anymore. Savine, they don't have interest in playing him. They don't think he's good enough. The team doesn't have as much depth as we were saying.
I mean, they have a solid 9-man rotation even without Obi. I mean, they have a solid 10 guys. That's more than most teams have.
That's fair. I mean, I guess if the Knicks were using all their draft picks and drafting more young players, they might have a couple other guys that. It would be ideal if the Knicks had a young player or two who wasn't getting enough minutes who could step into this role, but they've kind of not been using all the draft picks, and this is where it kind of hurts them.
No, why draft AJ Griffin? Because nobody ever gets injured in the NBA.
Yeah, exactly. No one will ever get injured. You don't need to keep drafting more players. The only position they did that smartly was center. Center, they have 3 centers. Even though, again, people are like, we should move one of our centers. No, one of them is going to be injured. Just keep the depth. Just don't get rid of the center depth.
There's a reason there's 5 positions and there's 15 roster spots.
Yeah, if anything, you'd think you'd have 2 backups for every position.
Yeah, that's the way a well-balanced roster should be, yeah.
Do you think the heavy minutes are going to hurt? I also saw I think some people have complained that the Knicks last game, I think it was RJ played 44 minutes, and Grimes played 42 minutes, and people were like, "Oh, there Tibbs goes again with the minutes." You watch the game. Randle was out. They really wanted to win the game. It wasn't crazy that those guys stayed in extra long when the team felt shorthanded.
People really want to go off on Tibbs. He hasn't been doing this every game. He did it once with Obi injured, Randle getting ejected in the third quarter, and Brunson getting hurt.
Okay, you know what? I have to apologize. The show can't be. We're doing this too much. But
I know.
Things we read, us reacting to things we read on Twitter. But
yeah, we got to stop that. But
we got to stop that.
But no, I don't think a 1-game thing with 3 guys missing out of a 9-man rotation is anything to get upset about.
I mean, also, like, people are like, hey, we want the young guys to play. They're playing. Young guys are playing too many minutes. Well, you wanted them to play. Who else do you want to play? You didn't want the vets to play, so the young guys have to play.
I don't know. I don't know what people want. I really don't.
But
the Knicks have won 4 in a row, all by double digits. It's a good thing. Tibbs is doing things right. The players are playing well. There should not be much complaining going on.
I thought the Sacramento would be a good test, even though they were out Fox. And again, the Knicks are getting lucky with guys being out, but also the Knicks are missing Obi. The Knicks are missing players as well. But I thought it was a good test, and the Knicks came up really big in that game. Do you think so all of these games have involved the teams shooting terribly from 3. And the Knicks defense, 3-point defense, does look noticeably better. But is this fool's gold? Or has the team really actually somehow made a leap in the last week?
I think they're getting to their ceiling. It helps that they played 12 straight injured teams. That does help. And
that doesn't hurt.
And I say 12 because I don't remember if the Warriors were missing anybody.
Stop it. It's the Warriors. It doesn't count if they're missing anyone. Unless they're missing Steph Curry, it does not count.
Okay. I mean, knowing the Knicks schedule, they're missing like Clay and Wiggins. But
by the way, before next show, the Knicks play the Bulls twice, and then by the way, the Bulls also will be missing Lonzo Ball because he doesn't play in the NBA anymore apparently. Who else are they missing? The Bulls are missing a couple players, right?
Yeah. Caruso just came back, but he got a quadruple single, and when I say single, I mean 1, 1, 1, and 1. Who else is out for the Bulls? They're in trouble.
Bulls aren't looking great, and then the Knicks are playing the Pacers. So the Knicks could have another Knicks should go 2-1 before our next show.
Actually, that's it. Don Samu is day to day, and Caruso's day to day. So it's really ball. It's just they're kind of another weird like roster that's kind of mismatched. They got Vucevic maybe a year too late.
But we dodged a bullet with not getting. We should have gotten what's his name, their best player, DeRozan, instead of Fournier, because DeRozan apparently the rumor was DeRozan wanted to be a Knick. But forgetting that, at least we dodged the bullet with Lonzo.
Yeah. Oh man.
But the Pacers, the Pacers are a good team, but the Knicks could definitely beat the Pacers. Jay will watch that game viciously, just pleasuring himself while watching Tyrese Halliburton play.
There'll be a lot of whiskey drunk that game, and I'm betting way over on Tyrese that game.
But I don't know. The Knicks defense, he may not look that great against the Knicks defense. The Knicks are their defense looks goddamn awesome.
It really
and then they play Golden State the following Tuesday, or not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, and I don't know. That's when it all fall apart.
I don't know. Golden State's very up and down this season.
Knicks could beat them. Let's do some questions, Jay.
Sure. The Knicks have the same record as Golden State. And we're 27 games into the season.
It's pretty good. The Knicks right now are they're 14-13. I think we all would have signed up for that, but we all would have said that's fine. No one would have an issue with that record.
I don't think there's any surprises there. We set around 500, a couple games above or below.
Yeah, I mean, people were saying that like the season so far has been like a chaotic mess. It was like, I don't know, it's been like a 500 season. There's ups and downs.
Yeah, I think they looked so bad in some of those losses that people were getting really worried. But I think Tibbs found a rotation that works, and as long as Brunson isn't out for a long time, they could survive Obi. I think I think they're going to be fine if Brunson's healthy.
I think people also were like, well, why didn't Tibbs figure out this rotation earlier? I don't know. It's not the easiest thing to figure out the rotation, even though if it's obvious to you on Twitter, or I can't respond to Twitter, but like I don't care if it's obvious to you. It's not really actually that obvious. It's hard to figure out rotations. It's hard to not play guys that are brought in here. Like Fournier, he's making $20 million a year. It's hard to say to the to your boss, I'm not going to pay this guy. You're going to pay him $20 million a year to sit on the bench.
Especially when you just hit the most threes in franchise history, and then you'll be like, you're paying him $20 million to hit all those threes, and I'm just going to bench him.
Also, Derrick Rose is super loyal to Tibbs.
Yeah.
He plays really hard for him. It's pretty hard just not play Derrick Rose anymore.
I think Tibbs made some very difficult decisions, but it's paying off on the court.
I think, I mean, one theory is that Tibbs basically thought his job was truly in jeopardy after the Dallas game, and he was like, screw this. I'm just going to play the guys I want to play. I guess he benched Fournier earlier, but like, he's like, I'm just going to play the guys I want to play, who play defense. We're gonna live and die by defense.
I don't know I don't think his job was in jeopardy. I think people made that up, but I do think he did say, screw it, I'm playing who I want at some point.
Maybe I'm sure there was a conversation between him and Leon Rose where he was like, I got to play the guy. First of all, there has to be both the front office and Tibbs must think there's some real value in playing the young guys, which there is. And he's like, the young guys are playing really good defense. Let's see if the offense will work itself out, especially because they sent McBride down to the G League for a couple games. McBride lit it up on offense, and they're probably like, you know what? He's not going to light it up on offense in the NBA, but something's there. If we just give him more minutes, his defense is going to look great, and the offense, maybe that will come around.
We mentioned earlier last week that some of these guys you have to make a decision on soon as well. And it's hard to make a decision when they're getting like 10 minutes a game. So double those minutes, give them a good run, and then you can make a better decision on if you want to extend their contracts, give them a new contract.
I saw this. Tell me what you think of this. I saw this on Reddit. And again, I'm not sure if you responding to social media, but I thought it was an interesting post I saw earlier today. It said everything the Knicks front office has done and will do over the rest of the offseason is done with trading for an all-star in mind. This is obvious, it says, but it's worth keeping in mind as we approach December 15th when the trades will start picking up. And it says this has been and will be the rationale for any moves we do and do not make. In the past, we've not traded Randle last offseason or any point yet. We flipped last year's first for 3 protected firsts. We brought on Brunson at a minimal asset cost. We're not paying at first to dump Fournier at any point, and trying to win despite a middling team, not tanking at any point. Those are things we were already doing. So here, according to the post, I want to get your view on these things. Following our logical moves, I think we make to continue towards our goal of trading for a star, which requires continuing to build up our asset base. Flipping IQ for at best the least protected first round pick we can possibly get before he gets this extension. What do you think of that move? So trade IQ for a protected first.
No. Why?
Get more assets. Same for Obi.
These protected first aren't worth crap. We found that out during the Donovan Mitchell trade. It didn't even move the needle.
Same for Obi. Trade him for a protected first, although the return would be not as good as for IQ. So we're getting 2 protected firsts for IQ and Obi.
Oh, good.
Cam for 2 seconds, Rose for 1 second. We're getting 3 more seconds, and those guys, that's fine. And then moving one of Mitch or Sims.
Again, why?
Continue to delay picks, flipping the protected first we have for further into the future protected first.
Just never draft. Never ever
Never
draft.
draft. Just basically turn every player into a protected first round pick, and then trade every first round pick we have for future first until we have like an unbelievable amount of protected firsts.
But they're protected.
Even if forgetting that, how further into the future? What are you just not going to draft players anymore? And you're not going to develop everyone that gets here. You're here until we can like slaughter you into first round picks.
Or like you're gonna wait till 1 year when you have like 10 picks and then you can't fit them all on the roster. Like,
I mean, this sounds insane. Like IQ and Obi, they're good. I like what IQ is doing. Obi obviously has been injured. You don't have to extend him this summer. You could wait till the following year when they hit restricted free agency. There's nothing crazy about that.
mm-hmm.
And I mean, I guess next year maybe you could trade them if you really aren't going to sign them. But why are you developing young players if you're not going to try to keep those young players?
Right. If they're not sure, you don't extend them this year. You play them, and if you're like, oh, they didn't really develop since last year, then you trade them.
I saw a post. I mean, it's also crazy. I saw a Reddit post. Maybe it was like earlier in the week, which before the Obi's injury, and it was like, Obi. It was right when he was injured. Obi, like, we're gonna have to extend him this offseason. And similar players like John Collins got $20 million a year. So we'll probably have to pay Obi something like $20 million a year, which is a lot to pay Obi. I'm like, 20. What are you talking about? $20 million a year? And John Collins is a much better player than Obi. Why are we even comparing the players?
Not only is John Collins better than Obi, Atlanta's been trying to trade him for like 3 years. So let's not use an example where the team thinks it was a mistake as something the Knicks have to do.
It's just like the amount people think IQ and Obi are worth in you could probably get them on reasonable contracts because they haven't done enough yet in the NBA.
Yeah.
I hope they're worth $20 million, but they're far from being worth $20 million so far.
I think you get Obi for like 7.
maybe like close to 10. IQ maybe 10 or 12 a year.
Yeah.
I also there's literally no reason to sign them this offseason. You would just wait till the following season.
Absolutely.
Why? I mean, like the Knicks, they signed Randle a year earlier than they had to. They signed Barrett a year earlier than they had to. Stop signing guys a year earlier than you have to.
Agreed.
Anyway, do you like this plan of just continually build up assets to trade for? By the way, okay, we get all the assets. Somehow a team falls for taking 37 protected first for their all-star. What's next? We have no one else on the roster. We traded everyone else for first.
Vet minimums is that one player is so good that everyone else will just drop all their salary to surround this guy.
Should the Knicks be trying to trade for an all-star, Jay? Or should they just use their draft picks and see what they can develop? I know we're not going to have a top 5 pick anytime soon, but should we just do that instead?
At this point, they need to nail a draft pick. Not good value. They've gotten good value for late picks. IQ, Grimes, good value for where it was. But if the Knicks, say, end up with like the 10th through 12th pick, they have to nail it. They have to get a borderline all-star with it.
I mean, also, but if you just build a team of very talented players and keep getting better, even if you don't necessarily have an all-star, you could probably go pretty far with a team with everyone's just really good.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, you're not going to get like a world beater at 10 to 12, but you need to get a very good talent there, not punt it down the road.
I feel like the Knicks have to stop. Like, you could just try to just develop for the draft. I don't know. I mean, like, also the Knicks keep chasing guys that were drafted. Like Brunson was a 2nd-round pick. Mitchell was drafted like the 11th or 12th pick in the draft. Like, guys fall every year. There's like pretty good players that fall in the draft
Every year.
Like, it's not ridiculous at all. But okay, going to questions. We have any emails, Jay?
Yeah, nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. Jonathan writes, Julius Randle's killing it right now like it's 2021, and we are winning, but there are still some fans that hate Randle. I think that those fans love to lose. When we are losing, they want Randle to be traded. When they're winning, they want to trade him because now his value is up. I just can't stand the negativity even when we're winning. Just enjoy the victories and shut the hell up. Oh, and by the way, if you want to trade Randle, we are going down a cliff at 100 miles per hour. We will suck big time because guess what? Obi's not that good. So shots fired.
I think if you're trading Randle, I mean, you maybe think it gets us better, but like, if we're trading Randle, you just go all in on the tank. because that's what we're doing.
If you trade Randle, this is like a 25-win team.
Yeah, Randall's a big part of what I mean. You think 25 win? You think the Randalls are like go from a 40-win team to a 25-win team? That's a 15-game difference, Jay.
Who's scoring? Who can create their own offense?
Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
You asked one for one player. I named one player.
Okay. And then now that Randall's not there and they double team Brunson, like they don't have any outside shooting. The team's finished.
RJ Barrett can create his own offense.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, obviously the team is worse. Whatever the number of games, obviously the team is worse.
I'd say significantly worse. Maybe not 25, but like 30. They're significantly worse.
They're a fair amount worse. They are definitely a fair amount worse without him. I think that's no question. It's you're just trying to figure out what end. Like, it's tough because when he's playing really bad, like last year you were dying to move him, and this year he's playing really well. So it's hard to know. It's a lot harder to move a guy when he's playing really well because you don't want to. When he's playing poorly, you obviously would love to move him.
It's tough because he is up and down, but it's not like it would be an easier decision if RJ was playing a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, and also the team would look a lot better if RJ was just playing. RJ's been playing. First of all, he's been playing well lately. His numbers are all up the last 10 games. They're up across the board.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing more of what you expected him. Maybe he'll get better from here.
Yeah, RJ's playing better, and now the Knicks are winning. You need the top two guys to be playing well.
Yeah, I mean, top three guys. You also obviously need Brunson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I maybe also the Knicks are playing this great defense, very good defense. Maybe they have something to build on from here. I don't know. Like, I mean, are the Knicks? The Knicks are a 4-game winning streak. I don't want to go crazy. Does this change your projection of the team? Like the way they're playing now, do you think the Knicks are suddenly going to win like 45 games, 46 games, or really just a 40, 41 win team?
I feel like I'm not changing my prediction until I see them beat some actual healthy teams. I'm happy the way the last few games have gone, and they look really good. But I don't know if it's fool's gold, and we're gonna be disappointed once they start playing like really good healthy teams.
Yeah, I mean it's a fair point. It might just be some fool's gold. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like it's also like sometimes teams just miss 3-point shots, and my question really is: are teams just missing shots, or is it? It's obviously Knicks are playing better defense, but also you're just catching teams when they're just missing shots, basically.
I think this is more than that, just because they've held 4 straight teams to a low amount of points, and I think that's more than a fluke.
By the way, I heard this. I wanted to rolling through Twitter, and I wanted to find this. This was said by CP the franchise, a part of the Knicks. What is it called? The Knicks Fan TV, and well respected name in the world of Knicks content creators. But he said, talking about Randle, he goes, trade. It's been 4 years since Julius Randle has been here. The team needs to peel it back and focus on acquiring top-end talent in the NBA draft. What does that sound to you, Jay?
Sounds like tanking to me.
Yeah, I don't know why he was using peel it back or like, and everyone's like discussing in like the thread talking about like it's like oh, peel it back. I'm like we're just gonna call tanking peeling it back now.
Yeah, no, that's
acquire top end talent in the draft. What is that? That's just the process.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you're trading Randle, it's obviously just trying to tank. So, Jay, do you think last year did you want to trade Randle?
Yes.
And this year you don't want to trade Randle?
I would say I would rather trade RJ.
SG writes on Twitter, Randle's improved play has increased his trade value. If we get to move him, should we? And what do you get back for him? So let's say you try to move him. What do you get back for him, Jay?
That's the thing. Like, he's the Knicks' best player right now. If you don't get back a significant talent, then you're just worse for, like, what's the reason?
it's if he's the thing is his value is kind of weird because he's playing all-star level now, but last year is playing terribly. It's hard for teams to value what he's going to be going forward. So you're not going to get an amazing return. And why dump a guy for cap space?
It wouldn't even be capped. They're so far over the cap. Like, even if you salary dumped, they're gonna have like almost no space to add anybody.
Well, if you dumped Randle with Fournier and Rose all together, and you got back
Then
like
you'd have
Westbrook's
cap
contract,
space,
yeah. But is that going to make a huge difference either? Are free agents going to like run here if you like without Randle?
I don't think so. I mean, I would almost rather see Randle with another All-Star.
Yeah, I mean he's looking better with Brunson. What if the players around him just get better?
Yeah.
Maybe you bring someone else in here who's just better than Randle, and Randle doesn't have to be the best player on the team anymore.
Sounds like a good idea to me. I mean,
Doesn't
Randle
sound- I
is a
mean-
willing passer.
He's a willing passer. I know there's people have killed his defense, but the Knicks now are playing great defense the last 4 games, and Randle's been out there for major minutes. His defense hasn't been quite as bad, so maybe if you have better defenders around him, he looks better also.
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, really, if let's say McBride suddenly was could score 15 points a game, like suddenly the team would look so much better.
Yeah.
Maybe just getting guys around him. I mean, like if you look at the like who are the best teams? I guess the Memphis model of obviously they have Ja, who's an all-star, but also having a bunch of really good players around him makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody who's like amazing other than John on that team.
Right. It's hard to get that all-star, but I don't know. It's building a team is tough. Anthony writes, "Are we winning it all this season?"
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
100%. David writes, "How disappointed should we be that Obi is hurt? Are the Knicks utterly incorrectly using him? I wish he'd learned to put it on the floor and drive to the basket."
Yeah, everyone needs to have multiple facets of their game. It's the one dimension thing. It's too easy to figure out.
He was just starting to put the ball on the floor, and drive a little more right before he got injured.
Yeah.
Like I think he was so close to actually being. I also don't know if he's I go back and forth on him, but he might just be a bench guy.
I think so. I mean,
everyone is like, if you design, I do hate the idea of like, I don't know, if Obi was on the right offense. I mean, you put him on the Golden State Warriors. If everyone has to be on the Golden State Warriors to be good, then maybe they're not that great.
I mean, I don't want to bash Obi every episode.
Yeah, it's unfortunate he's out. He's been getting bigger minutes now. I think he hustles a lot. I like when he drives and he tries to do a little more cutting. There's something there. I just think he's overrated.
Yeah. I'm refraining from Obi slander today.
Okay. Yeah, he is injured, so. Anthony writes, "Are you guys worried that this 9-man rotation will get everyone hurt? Is it working fine for the wins and losses, but all of a sudden Obi, Brunson are hurt along with Mitch playing through pain? Do you think the 9-man rotation has anything to do with guys being injured?"
No, they were all fluke injuries. They were all like landed on their foot weird. Most teams have a 9-player rotation. It's not like this crazy thing that Tibbs is trying. Like most teams do that.
Yeah, I feel like people were like, 9-man rotation? That's insane. You're like, that sounds about right for most teams.
Yeah.
Like how many teams are? I mean, I'm sure teams run 10-man. Like it's like you're talking. No one runs more, or most teams don't run more than 10-man. So it's either a 8, 9, or 10. Nothing's crazy about 9.
No, I think it's perfectly normal.
Yeah, Mitch, Brunson, and Mitch gets hurt all the time. So, but it seemed like they're all kind of freak injuries. I agree with you.
Yeah, none of them were like, oh, this guy's injury prone.
Do we have any more emails?
No, that was it.
Okay. Should I ask ChatGPT to make up an email for us?
No, I think we're good.
So the Knicks have a couple games coming up, which the Bulls, the Pacers, 2-1 before the next show, maybe 3-0.
It's very possible. It's very possible. I mean, they could take the Bulls.
I mean, most likely when you have a back-to-back, it's a home away. Actually, is it home away or are they both in Chicago? It is. No, they're both at Chicago, which is so it's 2 in Chicago. It's tough to win 2 on the road against the same team back to back.
But I would worry more about the Pacers game than I would about the Bulls games.
I'm thinking the Bulls will be a 1-1 and they'll beat the Pacers.
Really? I think they beat the Bulls twice and then lose to the Pacers.
Really? Is that because your man crush Tyrese Halliburton's on the team?
Pacers are good this year.
They are. They're a good team, but so is Sacramento. I think they're a very similar level team, and the Knicks just slaughtered Sacramento.
They were missing Fox. Indiana will break the streak of playing teams with injured players.
Is anyone missing from Indiana?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, no one big at least.
Right.
I don't know. The Knicks look pretty good. I mean, this is the highest they've been in the Knicks all season, at least.
Yeah.
Jay, you've been more excited about the Knicks at any point this season?
No, this is, you can't ask for more. They're playing the young guys and they're winning. There should be no complaints about this.
Playing lockdown defense.
Lockdown defense. RJ looked way better, which is nice.
Randle's playing bully ball. I don't know. There's a lot to like about the season.
There is. Look at that. We had a positive episode.
Yeah, I am. I gotta say, I'm getting more I watch every game anyway, but I'm getting more and more excited to watch every game with this team.
It is just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
I went to the Dallas game. The Knicks they got slaughtered in the Dallas game, and then they were like, okay, since Mark has now spent a ton of money on this on seeing this team and brought his son here, we'll start playing after that.
Well, should be interesting. We're going on January 18th. We'll see. We'll get to see Kyle Kuzma.
Ooh. And if Jay might bring Kyle Kuzma home with him.
See, the problem with trading for Kuzma, he's part of the Kardashian-Jenner curse, and they're undefeated.
I don't think he's a great defensive player. I don't think he's known for his defense.
I'm more worried about the curse.
Also, doesn't he play the 4 right now?
He could play the 3 though.
Okay. I mean, he's playing great. His offense has been awesome. But do you think he's a good stats, bad team kind of guy? I mean, they actually Wizards' record is not even that bad.
No, I think he's a good player. I mean, should I end the show saying I think he's better than RJ, or should I just end the show? That's
really just Jay. I would not say that. Jay.
I will not say that.
You're insane.
I will not.
But
say
you know what?
that.
His numbers have jumped up a lot. Maybe it shows that RJ can similarly keep improving his numbers.
And RJ doesn't have the Jenner curse.
He does not have the Jenner curse. Would it be weird if you found out RJ's never been sick? He's just been in fights with Jenners.
So for those of you who aren't familiar, any player who has dated a Kardashian or a Jenner has never won a championship, except Lamar Odom, who died and then came back to life. So that's how you beat the Jenner Kardashian curse. You actually have to die.
Remember the Knicks signed him before he had his unfortunate incident.
Oh yeah, that's right. And he never played a minute. Another great sign.
Yeah, I mean that was Phil Jackson. I've signed the corpse of Lamar Odom. What do you guys think?
Great move. All right, thanks for listening, everybody. We are NY Knicks Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon. We have 2 Knicks Podcast shirts left. You can get them at the NewYorkKnicksPodcast.com. And we have a comedy podcast called The Brink of Sanity. You can check that out, brinkofsanityshow.com.
Where I'm going to force you to ask questions to ChatGPT.
We will be back next week, hopefully with a 7-game winning streak.
That would be realistic.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
My love.